China is trying to quietly take control of Canada's land and natural resources, and the government, alongside indigenous groups, are actively enabling them. During the election, Carney warned that the US wanted Canada's land, resources, and water, but it's China that's truly targeting them. And China doesn't need to invade Canada for it. They found a smarter way, by infiltrating our government, influencing policy, and sowing division from within. Intelligence analysts say that China is pursuing a two-state strategy, building direct relationships with indigenous leaders to create what some analysts call a third space of sovereignty. The goal of all this is to allow indigenous leaders to deal directly with Beijing and Chinese investors, bypassing Ottawa where possible. This two-state strategy exploits recent policy changes in Canada. In 2021, Canada adopted the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, UNDRIP. In 2019, BC, under Premier David Eby, became the first province in Canada to enshrine it into law through DRIPA, the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act. These laws grant First Nations the right to free, prior, and informed consent for projects on claimed traditional territories. This means they must be consulted before a project is even proposed. With more than 600 indigenous communities located within 100 kilometers of a major minerals or natural resource project, UNDRIP and DRIPA give First Nations significant leverage and in some cases near veto-like power, especially in BC where historic treaties are limited. Now, China has taken keen notice of all this. A 2019 Canadian intelligence report revealed that Beijing was flying out First Nations leaders to China on so-called cultural exchange trips. In fact, one Chinese embassy official privately described these trips as beibian, which is Mandarin for to be fooled, after pre-screening delegates for their usefulness to Chinese interests. Canadian security officials say that China is deliberately undermining trust between First Nations groups and the federal government. China is helping push the narrative that Canada committed mass genocide against the natives to distract from their own treatment of the Uyghur Muslims in China and to boost indigenous support for land back claims in Canada. BC Senator Yen Pao-Wu helped defeat a Senate motion to recognize the Uyghur genocide by comparing it to Canada's residential schools, saying Canada was no better. After the motion failed, China's foreign ministry praised Senator Yen Pao-Wu as a person of vision. The hypocrisy is stark. First Nations position themselves as stewards of the land, yet partner with Chinese firms who are notorious for environmental destruction abroad. True reconciliation should strengthen Canadian unity, not divide us for foreign gain. China is weaponizing our history and internal politics to access our resources and land, and our government is willing to let it happen.